Alright. Welcome one and all. Today we're going to be doing some more Total War Warhammer 2 tournament battles, and we're here today in round 1 with a Tomb Kings versus Chaos game. So I'm going to let these guys pick their armies for just a minute here. Hope you all are doing well today. Nice early morning tournament. I say early morning, it's not actually that early, but keep in mind that I work in restaurants and kind of more of a night person, so for me this is early. So alright, welcome. Let's see here, just paste my stream all over the various places to paste it, and we will have some fun. Alright, looks like these guys are about ready to get started. Sorry, I've just been checking out some various things. Hey, Gabriel, we got Tom Pugh in here. Yeah, it's not that early for my time zone. I'm in Mountain Time, so it starts at 9 a.m. for me, which again, it's not that early. Keep in mind, though, that, again, I work in the restaurant industry, and so, like, last night, for example, I was at work until, like, 11:30, so I didn't get home until past midnight. So, yeah. Oh, Robert. Oh, that caused me physical pain. I should give you an honorary ban. That was actually a pretty good pun. I'm not going to, but I feel as though I should give out honorary bans for really just painful puns, because the best puns are ones that cause physical trauma, right? Oh, Shetland. Oh, rip. Feels bad, man. Well, pretty sure it's still giving me money every month, so. Gabriel Shayliff. Oh, that's funny. I think these guys are good to go. Alright. I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, last night was a sort of stressful for a short time, but you know, we did a good job with what we needed to do for the night and made some good money, so overall it was a good night. And yeah, this morning I'm definitely excited to jump into some Total War Warhammer 2 battles, especially in a competitive tournament scene like this. I definitely enjoy these kind of high-level games. This initial round here, I don't know that I've seen either of these guys play, but we do have XMT clan member, which is recently formed, I believe, clan. If any of you guys are members, you can let me know, but I know, like, Wicked, Halo, some of those other guys, they kind of hang around in, like, Heir of Carthage's Discord, for example. A lot of those guys seem to have formed up into a clan, you know, which is always cool. Cool to see the community coming together. Hey, Justin, good to see you. Thanks for joining the stream. Alright. We're here in the beautiful Chaos Wastes. Got this nice craggy crag over here and this beautiful skull. Man, the artists in this game just did such a good job. I'm super excited for Game 3, too. That post that Creative Assembly made about, you know, what we're working on, like the 2 lines they had about Game 3 were enough to just get everyone all riled up about, you know, Chaos Demons and all this. So anyway, let's go ahead and have a look at the armies here. We've got High Queen Khalida and a Lich Priest Lore of Light, just nets, and he did bring Exorcism. I'm not sure He fully understands the purpose of exorcism. This is, you know, he's not up against an undead faction, but that's okay. He's got some skeleton spearmen, tomb guard with halberds, scorpion legion here. We've got 2 necrosphinxes, one of which is the Regiment of Renown, so this is obviously going to be the majority of the killing power of this Tomb King's army right here. No necrotechs, though, to heal them. We do have 2 units of carrion, very good choice. For the Warriors of Chaos, right up front, we've got a couple of Marauder Horsemen throwing axes, looks like some Skelly Archers as well, including the Blessed Legion. We've also got Marauders, Forsaken, Demon Spew. Interesting, a lot of Forsaken. You don't really see Forsaken too much these days. I'm curious to see how this build does. I'm not the biggest fan of Forsaken. I think Chaos Warriors tend to be a lot more cost-effective just because the way the mechanics of the game work and the meta is right now tends to favor shielded infantry more than anything, from what I've found. So yeah, we've got, let's see here, Soul of Damnation, very fun pick there. Archaon the Everchosen, excellent pick in the Chaos matchup. He just deletes Tomb King's characters, or in the Tomb King's matchup. Exalted Hero, we've got some Chariots and Dragon Ogres as well, so yep, very good stuff. Interested to see how this does. You don't typically see Hell Cannons too much just because Ushabti Greatbows can take these guys out pretty quick. But there are no Greatbows for the Tomb King's players, so it could potentially be effective. That being said, again, the majority of the killing power of the Tomb King's army is wrapped up in these 2 Necrosphinxi? I don't know. Anyway, so the Hell Cannon's not really going to be too good at firing at them, so, I mean, yeah, you could maybe get a good hit on some of these Tomb Guard, maybe you take out these Regiment of Renown Archers and some different things, but there's just not that many targets for the Hell Cannon to really pay off. So, yeah. Looks like Nevada. You're not wrong. Oh, man. Just adjust something here real quick. Apologize if that's super loud for you guys. Just had to readjust my pop filter there. It was about to whack me in the chin, so... Shetland, if you're here in chat, can you confirm that 2 Necrosphinxes is a rule break? I don't know if these guys count as super weapons. Let's see here. I guess I could go to the rules. Warhammer Cup rules. Army limits. There they are. Okay, so let's go to the Warriors of Chaos. Okay, so it does look like it is indeed a rule break from what I'm seeing here, right? So for those of you who are curious about the rules, we do have rules of play as well as army limits, so I'll just quickly throw this up on screen while these guys get this situation sorted out. So we can see here, Shetland, Pippington, and others have worked really hard to put together this beautiful rule book here, and it has, you know, your general army limits, and it also has a cheat sheet for each individual faction, so you can take your build, compare it to this sheet, and make sure that it fits. So if we go ahead and find the Warriors of Chaos, I just saw them, I swear, somewhere in here. Is this alphabetical? They'd probably be at the bottom then. Yep, there we go. Okay. So, limited to 1. Oh no, sorry, Tomb Kings. What am I doing? Sorry guys, still a bit early. Yep, Necrosphinx does count as a super weapon. It has this little nuke symbol right here, so confirmed. Let's see. It is a rule break. Yep. Necrofex. Yeah, the Necro Sphinx is a super weapon. The Necrofex, I don't think it was decided that that was a super weapon. There is an argument to be made there in certain matchups, but I really, because it's so terrible at fighting like small characters, single entities, like a noble on a horse, for example, I don't think they're that OP. But is there a way to? Yeah, no way to post links. You know what, Sarmation? I'm gonna go ahead and make you a moderator. So now you can post links. Also, Shetland, your Smurf account also gets to be a moderator too. So that you can post links. Alright, I guess I should throw up an army blocker here as he reallocates the funds that were misspent there. So the way rule break works is the person who broke the rules has to keep the same army except for the offending unit. They obviously have to delete that, or offending units, and then reallocate those funds accordingly. So, alright, looks like we're ready to rock again. He's gone mad with power. Unlimited power. Alright. Alright. Now then, Dawn's Elite, I believe the person who didn't break the rules is able to reallocate their funds. They have to keep the same army, but they can pick, like they have to keep the same faction, I should say. They have to pick a new, they can pick a new army. Alright, now these guys are loading in again. We'll switch back over. Alright, and we're back in the beautiful I mean Chaos Waste. This is actually a pretty interesting map. Overall, pretty featureless, but there are kind of these little scrub forest areas where you can hide troops. Not a lot of people realize, but like this area right here, where the terrain's a bit darker, you can actually hide troops there. Of course, you've got this little hill in the middle, which has one side, which is obviously impassable. And yeah, just overall very interesting map. You do start pretty close together, so it does favor rush type builds rather than like an artillery control build, but certainly artillery can be pretty decent. We are just barely getting started, so you guys haven't missed anything. So yep. Scaly Warriors, yep, should be the same. So the Necro Sphinx was just reallocated to some Nehekara Horsemen. Pretty good stuff. The Chaos Warriors gone for a little bit of a different strategy. Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, a main line of, looks like Marauders, and 2 Chosen with great weapons. Super interesting. It's also got the Soul of Damnation still, Archaon with his double Exalted Hero Goon Squad. We'll see how it does here. Should be pretty interesting. Archaon's going to have his work cut out for him, and the thing about the Sphinx of Uzsek that makes it particularly a pretty strong regiment of renown, not a lot of people realize, but it does actually have fire resistance of 25%, which isn't amazing. 25% mitigation's decent though, for sure, and the fact that you can almost guarantee in this matchup your opponent's going to be bringing Lore of Fire, because, I mean, they can murderize your characters quite easily with it. This guy, if he's in that fight and soaking the hits from Archaon, yes, he'll take some damage, but that fire resistance does help mitigate that a little bit. Yeah, Sarmation, I think the argument is that because you can heal Necrosphinxes, also they did used to be a bit more powerful. I honestly, personally don't think that they should be considered a super weapon anymore. That's just me, though. I think they're kind of easily counterable by certain things, but alright, looks like these guys are going to be getting underway. These horsemen just outside of the range of the skeleton archers actually going to immediately run into range, which is probably not the best idea, but yeah, they're going to need to pull back here. They're just throwing their axes at skeleton warriors at this point, which is not the best. Let's see, Soul of Damnation not opened up shots on anyone yet. Looks like there are some units in range. Yep, just barely here. We've got some skeleton warriors and such in range. So Carrion going to be tossed in here. No Lore of Nehekara to give them any kind of buffs. One thing I like to do with Carrion, because they actually have pretty decent weapon strength, at the end of the day, 40 weapon strength is not bad, and they have good melee defense as well. So something cheeky I like to do is to give them the Overcast, what is it called? Let's pull this up real quick. This guy right here, Cursed Blades. And if you Overcast, it gives a plus 16 bonus versus large. If you throw that on some Carrion and engage them on something like Marauder Horsemen, they can actually do a surprising amount of damage. I've even had them not beat a unit of Dragon Ogres, but certainly do a lot of damage. And yeah, can be a pretty effective means of countering some of these mobile large units. But anyway, yeah, you can see the Tomb King player reforming to take the high ground and then gonna kind of push down this way towards the artillery position here. But right now, that Hell Cannon is shooting at the Sphinx of Usak. I'm not really sure that that's the best target for it here. It is going to have a hard time making direct contact. I'd much rather see it go after like these Tomb Guard or the Blessed Legion here. It's probably going to be a lot better target. Yeah, see right there, that's an excellent target. These Tomb Guard are really one of the only super viable targets for that Hell Cannon. So yeah, Carrion swooping down in here unsupported like this. These Marauder Horsemen should be able to do okay, especially if these Chosen were to run in here and support, which it looks like, yeah, they're fine to just sit back and watch for now. Let the Marauders prove themselves to the Chaos Gods. Another swing and a miss there from the Chaos Dawi artillery. And man, that thing has a ridiculous refire rate. It's just pouring through its ammo very, very quickly. Hasn't done a whole lot of work yet, only 15 kills to show for it, but it is certainly pumping out a lot of shots. Another very effective shot right there, though, racking up another 10 kills, give or take. And, ooh, that's a big mistake there. A little bit of a lack of knowledge, not realizing that fire resistance, I mean, with Kindle Flame, it will mostly neutralize it, but still, you're going to be going mostly damage neutral there on that Sphinx, rather than, say, popping Kalita, which would do basically like 40% extra damage. So, yeah, a little bit of a rough situation there. Ooh, we're going to get an Overcast net here. This is really bad for the Chaos player. These Marauder Horsemen are needed to help counter this Sphinx. That being said, they are wasting a lot of their ammo shooting these Carrion, and there isn't really a whole lot to follow up this net. The archers are a little bit out of position. They do finally come forward and start to pick off a few models there. But, man, look at those horsemen like jankily pathing through even though they're netted. The Carrion do come down and momentarily shut down the Soul of Damnation. Very good play there. This infantry fight is getting underway here. Sphinx of Usak carving up the center. The issue here is that it's a pretty narrow army. These Marauders are probably going to get terrified away relatively quickly, and the Chosen will be able to hold for some time, but if they get isolated, they'll be able to get ground down by the big constructs here. You can see the Lich Priest not really being threatened here. Archaon and his Goon Squad, not sure where they're off to. Looks like they're trying to push up and around the flank where probably should be trying to defend the backline against the Sphinx. Like, if you got all three of these characters together and came after the Sphinx here, they would be able to put a beating on it pretty quick, but instead, this backline being compromised heavily, Soul of Damnation shut down, Chosen, both units of Chosen trying to rally to the cause here, but at the same time, if these Chosen actually stand and fight here against the Sphinx of Usak, they could potentially do some pretty good damage as well, but obviously the Sphinx with the superior mobility can just pull away like this, and the Chosen aren't going to be able to catch them, so a little bit of a rough situation there. You can see the Exalted Heroes getting tangled up in some Tomb Guard with halberds. That's definitely not the best. Archaon here going in the front line, trying to go after, looks like the Lich Priest potentially. Ooh, yeah, he could make some nasty contact here, but it looks like some unit models are blocking the way currently. That Soul Nehekara Horseman, man, this guy's a hero right here. True patriot of the Tomb Kings, defending defending the Lich Priest there, blocking Archaon's mass from being able to get to him. Man, what a hero. Anyway, these the Blessed Legion here and the Skeleton Archers pouring some fire, but it looks like Archaon going to unleash a vengeful burning head, just wrecking through those Skeleton Archers, which does pop off Realm of Souls, but it basically didn't quite delete those units of archers. Must not have been an overcast burning head, but still got some pretty good work done. The hero, Nehekara Horseman eventually did fall, leading to the Lich Priest getting absolutely slapped down by Archaon in just a few hits. Kalita, what are you doing? What are you doing? You should not be here either. Archaon will also... Oh, no, never mind. Okay, with the Ushabti, that will pretty much change everything. Still, I wouldn't stand next to Archaon with Kalita, because I mean, even on foot, she'll just get deleted by him. But once the Ushabti pile in and start to kind of block Archaon back, then he's going to be in a really, really rough situation. When these Ushabti get a full surround and all the unit models are just circle beating like this, oh man, and he can't pull away, and now the Sphinx also following up here, so yeah, Archaon is in a big bad situation there. Let's see, looks like a Flaming Sword of Ruin going to be going down, yep, helping to buff up those Chosen. Chosen are holding out pretty well, they're racking up kills, and not really a whole lot to challenge them. The Tomb Guard with My Will Be Done can do a little bit of work over time, but now it looks like the Ushabti piling into the Chosen, and the Sphinx just very aggressively going after Archaon. 1 or 2 hits on Archaon, and if they can take out the leadership here... Oh, no, that's actually not Archaon. What happened to old Archie boy? Oh, he's up on the hill, cackling and hiding very heroically. But yeah, now this Exalted Hero definitely getting beat down. We'll see. These Chosen are grinding, but they're not doing great right now. This other unit's doing much better, but they're not really in that much of a position to help out in the really critical part of the battle. Looks like Archaon might be coming over. He really needs to unify all these heroes together and try and fight, as one against these big stompy, the one big stompy, I guess, for the Tomb Kings here. Oh man, yeah, this is the issue with the Marauders, is they're just almost immediately going to get terrified when they try and run in here. And the loss of the second Exalted Hero must have just got ground down by the Tomb Guard there. But definitely unfortunate. Yeah, this is not looking necessarily great for Chaos. It's not super out of the ballpark. If he could get a few good attacks, take down the Sphinx, and isolate Kalita so that Archaon can get at her, then he could come back here. These Chosen will be able to hold out for some time, and currently both units have kind of, come back to back here, so they can't be outflanked as easily. They're starting to just cut through the Tomb King's infantry, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Again, that fireball going on the Sphinx, I guess any kind of damage is worth it, but still, the fire resistance definitely going to keep that from being overly effective. And yeah, oh man, that double hit on that Exalted Hero. I said the second one went down. It actually looks like he's coming back from rout, but this one's probably going to get routed off right here. And Archaon finishing off some infantry here, reunifying with his Chosen. These Chosen, definitely can help protect Archaon from melee units. He really just needs to stand around them so that if the Sphinx comes after him, then he can, get some infantry support here. That being said, the fact that both these Skeleton Archers are still online, especially the Blessed Legion, means that they could potentially fire into the Chosen. Right now they're shooting at Archaon, which, definitely understand that. If you can finish off the leadership of Chaos, this terror would be a major issue for the Chosen. That being said, though, Archaon gonna have to be careful. If he could get this Exalted Hero together and fight, away from the infantry support of the Tomb Kings, but at the same time, again, these Chosen need to stay in a position where they can support Archaon. Or rather, Archaon needs to stay in a position where he can be supported, I guess would be a better way of putting it, but... Yep. Yeah, this Chaos army, I think, leaves something to be desired. Personally, I am a big fan of shielded Chosen. You take, for example, Big Bird in a lot of matchups. Even this matchup, the Tomb Kings sometimes go with a pretty heavy missile build. Big Bird helps counter a lot of that, not to mention Lore of Metal helps your Shielded Chosen perform really well. Shielded Chosen have like 60 plus melee defense, so even, you know, monsters will struggle to make consistent contact against them. You're going to have to get like a super high tier monster like this Sphinx here. Could do some decent damage against them, but at the same time, because they're cheaper, it allows you to go a little bit wider in other aspects of your army. Plus, Chosen to have like a 60% missile block chance, something crazy like that. Like, it's a lot. But despite everything, you know, this battle's still pretty even at the end of the day. Archaon and his Exalted Hero just kiting the Sphinx around. Honestly, this Sphinx should just go fight these Chosen, I think. It's going to be one of these the only things on the Tomb King, in this Tomb King's army that can really work down these Chosen. Right now, the Tomb Guard are trying. The Tomb Guard, though, just don't have the offensive stats to get through the 48 melee defense of the Great Weapon Chosen. Yeah. Hey, Modern Savagery, how's it going? Yeah, if you're not going to take Big Bird, I mean, Archaon, there's definitely an argument to be made for him here. You know, maybe the Halberd Chosen might be a little bit of a better option than the Great Weapon Chosen. Yeah, but like Marauders with Great Weapons, for example, not the biggest fan of that pick here. Hell Cannon's another little bit of an odd one, but you know, actually, the Weird Spawn are an excellent unit in this matchup. Like, you get the Weird Spawn stacked on top of a unit of Shielded Chosen, and they can beat just those two most monsters in the game without too much issue. It's, you know, it's an interesting matchup. There's definitely a lot of counterplay. The best Tomb King builds, I think, are just super wide with like 2 Tomb Scorpions. You maybe get a couple of Shabti in there as well. Just tons and tons of skeleton infantry. Arcan the Black's pretty good in this matchup because you can Spirit Leech Chaos characters and summon more skeletons. Yeah. Cetra's pretty good in this matchup too, as is Katep, but you kind of got to pick and choose your battles a little bit. Certainly the skeleton summons are good, but I'm a little bit partial to Lore of Nekara just because it gives you that healing, and again, with the Overcast Cursed Blades, you can get a bonus versus large, which is, I think it's one of the, it's the only spell in the game that gives a bonus versus large, but oh man, the curse going off there from Kalita as she takes some damage, that's going to do a ton of damage to these Chosen, and might push the balance of power over the edge for Chaos here. Yeah, this Exalted Hero getting deleted down to only 300 HP. I mean, Kalita did take a ton of damage there, but I think that curse is enough to finish things off here. We'll see. These Chosen are still grinding it down. But if Archaon gets routed off here, I don't think like this very weak unit of Chosen might get terrified. And yeah, I don't know. Archaon must not have Crown of Domination. He just went down there, so I think that's the end for Chaos. Yep, looks like critical army losses. GG. So the Salad Cup is being hosted by the current reigning Everchosen, Aerocrastic. So I believe it's all 1v1s, right? Let's see. Da-da-da. Alright, let's have a look here at the thing. Alright, so it does look like it's, what, best of 3? Yep, so we're going to be getting potentially one more game here. I'll go ahead and throw the army blocker back up. Da-da-da. It is Big Bird jumping on a tree, yep. And big thanks, Modern Savagery. Yeah, if you guys like the stream, it does make a big difference. Helps with the analytics, so I will show up on people's suggested videos more often. Of course, chatting, commenting also helps too. Is to kill your opponent. You know, I would say definitely, Sarmation, that most matches are a toss-up, if you will. But really, at the end of the day, it's all dressing, right? Yes, the salad cup. Alright, just checking through a few things here. People are trying to talk to me while I'm streaming, which is always great. It's alright, Jacob. You were up against, what, Arkan the Black? Yeah. Or is that someone else? Oh man, Wicked had to fight Kark. That's rough. Oh man, that's rough. Oh, Lumberjacks. Sorry about that. Oh, you're against Romulan. Okay, okay. Oh, yeah, that's also extremely rough. Oh, yeah, I see you down there now. Okay. Oh. I don't envy you. Yep. Yeah, competition's pretty stiff. The seeding is yeah. There are some pretty interesting matchups though, even in the early round. Like I might actually jump out of this one after, well, they've got one more game, so we'll probably do the second game. And then I'm just looking at the matchups here, and like we've got Kark versus von Karstein. We've got Mookip versus Romulan. Shetland is up against They Call Me OP, which They Call Me OP hasn't played in that many tournaments, but I've heard he's decent. And then the winner of that one gets to fight Arkan the Black. Yeah. Got some interesting matchups in the works, for sure. Let's go ahead and switch this back over, as these guys are just about to get started here. Alright. Cool as a cucumber indeed. It's true. It's true. I mean, the best salads are the ones with nuts, right? And this salad definitely is nuts. Yeah, Jacob, in my first tournament that I did, I won the first round 2-0, and then in the second round, who did I fight? I think I had to fight like Claxland Soothsayer or something like that. Just got wrecked. Oh, man. Or, you know, you could get 2-0'd in front of like 10,000 people by Shetland Apache. That also happened to me. I'm not sure, Deity, Janet, yeah. I know he was sick for a while, and now, yeah, I'm not really sure. He's just been away, from what I understand, but... Alright, looks like these guys are ready. Lizard Men, let's see here. We've got Crocky G, Skink Priest, and Saurus Spears, which I am not a fan of. He's got a whole bunch of Temple Guard, though. 1, 2, 3, 4 Temple Guard? 5 Temple Guard. Huh. Interesting. I believe that is a rule break, huh? Let's go ahead and have a look here. Da-da-da. Yeah, actually, you're limited to 3 Temple Guard. Let's see here. Yep. Yep. Yeah, so again, if we pull up the army limits here, we can see that Temple Guard are indeed limited to 3, and I believe this is because of the max 4600 rule. So if we go ahead and scroll up to the top here, we can see for a single unit, if I can find the specific rule, here we go. So for a unit of 46 models or more, you can take a max of 5. However, the maximum spend is 4600, which means it limits elite units more so. So yeah. Yep. Alright, so we'll let these guys get it sorted out, so... Hey Aristo, going pretty good. Are we allowed to take Adderall for this competition? I'm going to go with, are you prescribed for Adderall? I think that's the safe thing to say there, right? Yeah, we've had a couple rule breaks, so, yep. So I think I am going to go ahead and leave these guys to it, and we'll go ahead and jump into another round. See if we can find somebody who's in the works. Yeah, because there are some other matchups that I think I might want to jump in on here, so let's go ahead and go back to the multiplayer lobby here. And let me pull up this one more time, give it a quick refresh, and we can look at who is going to be fighting right now. Looks like Shetland versus OP has started. Let's jump in with Pippington and Hadris here and see how these guys are getting on. Looks like good old Herbert Walker is also in this one. So maybe I will find another. Let's see here. Yeah, so those guys are not quite picking their armies. Let me throw this army blocker up just in case here. I don't want to give anyone's super secret build away. We could do Zarhu versus Scribble. Yeah, let's see. I don't think anyone's going to be in this one. Alright, so it looks like we are in this one. Let's see here. All right, so yeah, these guys are still 0-0, so I think we're gonna hop in with these guys here. Are there legal consequences for not hitting it? Forcible salad tossing. Let's go with that. Hey Ryan, good to see you. By Chef Kolek. Oh, Kolek with his big old meat tenderizer. Oh man. I'm pretty excited for Ogre Kingdoms. There's going to be a lot of chef puns with the Ogre Kingdoms because their whole thing is that they're always hungry, right? Like they literally worship a giant hole in the ground that makes them always feel hungry, right? So I'm super excited for the Ogre Kingdoms. I think it's going to be awesome. Da-da-da. Volkmar sad he can't grill salad. He does grilled tomatoes. Actually, grilled tomatoes with Chilean dressing and some Parmesan cheese, like shredded Parmesan cheese on the outside. You grill that up on a skewer and then, you know, throw it on a plate or something. I don't like tomatoes, but I know people who like that. I don't know if that's a salad, but... Yeah, I'm curious to see if the Ogre Kingdoms have like an area of effect minus bonus versus large. Like, if you look back at Rome 2, the nomadic factions had an ability called Draco because they were all horsemen, right? Like, I think in multiplayer they literally didn't have any infantry units. Maybe they had one infantry unit, but for the most part, it's all horsemen, right? So, where was I going with this? So, you're up against an army of like all spears, you're up a creek without a paddle, right? So they had an ability called Draco, which would give an area of effect minus bonus versus large, like minus 50 or something, just so that all bonus versus large was removed in that area of effect. And Yeah, I could see them doing something maybe like as a Lord ability for the Ogre Kingdoms like that, just because otherwise they're going to have a really, really hard time. I mean, granted, sorry about my squeaky chair, guys. Granted, they are going to have some infantry units, like they'll probably have some Hobgoblin Chaff and maybe some other, you know, non-large type units, but I mean, the majority of their army is going to be monstrous infantry, so I'll be curious to see how it works. I'm sorry, Modern Savagery. I'm not a tomato guy. I like tomato sauces, but like, I don't know, a tomato itself, it's not for me. It's bad. Many got food poisoning. Yeah, didn't that place get shut down by the health department? Anti-large doesn't work if your whole army is Nobbler. I mean, yeah, you have a point there. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be like taking an entire army of Skaven slaves. No, Pharaoh! What's up, dude? Good to see you. Sorry to hear it. Let's go ahead and have a refresh here while these guys are finishing up their army picks. Oh man, Scribble going with Skaven. Wow, the cojones on this one. Oh, you had to face Black Phillip. Hey, you got 2-1 out of it, though. Feel free to send me any of those replays that you want casted. I don't know. At least one of them might have been good that you won. But, yeah. Yeah. Oh, and now Sarmation's fighting Freddie Mercury. And then Black Phillip will fight the winner of that one. Moral victory, though. Dude, the Gobbo Great Shaman, pro tip, is one of my favorite characters in the game right now because he's so fast. Yeah, feel free to send him over, man. The Gobbo Great Shaman, I mean, because he's so fast on the Wolf, and you can take Vindictive Glare, which is now really good, he is, like, unbelievable. Like, somebody took the classic, like, double Hell Pit, double Bell, Rat Ogre, like 2 Rat Ogres, just a ton of slaves, Skaven build against me, and he killed 2 Hell Pits and did a ton of damage to one of the Bells just by himself, right? And there's nothing the Skaven can do. They don't have anything that can catch him, right? So you literally, unless you screw up your micro super hard, he's not in any danger, right? I mean, granted, if they took Liber Bubonicus, but this guy had a Gracier on a Bell, so he didn't have Liber Bubonicus, so there was literally nothing he could do about it. Lizardmen right now? Lizardmen are interesting. I haven't been playing them a whole lot. I do see people do well with them, but I think their playstyle is a little bit different than what most people are used to. Some people make the Dino Mash work, but I think because it's so linear and expected that a lot of people are going to have the counter tools to deal with dinosaurs. So, miscast really hurt Gobbos, yeah. Overcasting Vindictive Glare. The Gobbo Great Shaman on the Wolf has a bit more health. The Night Goblin Shaman, you can't take him on a mount, and he has one of the lowest health pools of any character in the game, so the miscasts really hurt him. I actually jumped into another game, Aerocrastic, just because those guys had already taken quite a while, so we're in now here with another one. Yeah, I wanted to jump into one of the later round games that was already underway, just because we might get a more competitive match out of it. Nothing against those guys, but you know, some of the other players who I know, you know, are more of a known quantity. I wanted to jump into some of their games. So right now we're here with who do we have? Scribble and Zarhue. I don't know that I've ever seen Zarhue play, but yeah, going to be interesting. We've got Skaven versus Dark Elves here, a whole line of Skaven slaves. We do have a Gracier on a Bell here. Double Warp Lightning Cannon protected by a nice box of Clan Rats. A double Doom Wheel as well. Very fun pick. You don't really see Doom Wheels that often here, so... Yeah, Spaniard, those guys had 2 rule breaks, and plus they were both kind of slow at selecting their armies, so that match was taking a while, like over an hour probably, so, yeah, that rule break was the second rule break that we had, so, yeah, some army limit rule breaks, yeah. Yep, so we've got some Night Runners here, and yeah, looks like that's it. We've got some shades for the Dark Elves, no weapon variants there. Corsairs, we've got a couple Dread Spears, a couple Bolt Throwers as well. Sorceress Lore of Fire, Lokir Fellheart, very nice pick against the Skaven. Tend to have low armor in general. Lokir with his anti-infantry and good defensive stats will be able to tank out the damage. He's relatively cheap, and he can cut through a whole bunch of Skaven. Backed up by some Witch Elves. We've got a single unit of Blackguard here. This build makes me happy for the Dark Elves, even though I don't really like Dark Elves very much. I like this build a little bit. So here we go. Getting underway here, and there is going to be a bit of an artillery engagement. Obviously, the Skaven do have longer range, but I would say that High Elf and Dark Elf Bolt Throwers trade very cost effectively in a straight-up artillery duel with Warp Lightning Cannons, so I'm curious to see how this goes here. son of a demonetized. Yeah. Yep. So, here we go. A bit of a weird lighting issue on this map. I don't know, I updated my drivers recently, and I don't know if NVIDIA screwed something up, but I might have to go look at some of my settings, especially for lighting on certain maps. But anyway, I don't know how this looks for you guys. Probably is coming through okay on screen. Maybe it's just my monitor, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, back to the battle. You can see the Doom Wheels moving up here. The Bolt Throwers are in a position to start shooting at them, but that does mean that they're not going to be shooting at these Warp Lightning Cannons, and you can see Scribble dodging those shots very nicely with his Doom Wheels. Doom Wheels, 72 speed, one of the few kind of mobile options you have is the Skaven. The biggest issue I find with the Skaven is you don't have anything in that 90 range. Even, like, your fastest units are, what, Rat Ogres and Doom Wheels, which are around 70, so you really struggle against heavy mobility type builds. That being said, the Dark Elves here not really going for too much of a mobility build here. You can see the Doom Wheel discovering the hard way that there are indeed some shades here, but Warp Lightning Cannons just about in position, not quite. Looks like they are in a position now, and who are they going to be opening up on? It looks like Lokir himself. Very interesting. I'm curious to see if these guys are accurate enough to actually land hits on Lokir. Oh, where'd he go? I don't think any of those actually hit him. Yeah, we got Night Runners here too, taking some counterfire from those shades, so good damage against the Dread Spears though. They're doing some nice skirmish initially, and the longer that the Skaven player can kind of hold these Bolt Throwers back and, you know, just fight the Dark Elves at a distance, it's going to be more advantageous to him. You can see the Doom Wheels coming through, just carving up these Black Ark Corsairs for almost no risk. He is able to pull away before the Witch Elves can support effectively there, so very nice use of the Doom Wheels. Do a bit of early skirmishing, trying to get at these Bolt Throwers, I would imagine, but oh, there we go. A solid hit on Lokir sends him flying there, and oh man, this is the wrong unit to try and chase these Night Runners out with. Corsairs only have 80 armor. I say only. 80 armor is decent. It's not amazing, though, and no missile block chance with a relatively low HP pool means that even Night Runners can do a very effective counter-skirmish, especially for units like this. Dark Elf players starting to kind of get a little bit pulled apart here. You can see the Skaven batteries now counter-firing on the Bolt Throwers. Yeah, should be interesting there. The issue for the Dark Elves is they have no mobility or mass, which means there's nothing that can tie these Doom Wheels down. Essentially, the Dark Elf player is going to be relying on Scribble to screw up his micro and get, like, caught out by Witch Elves or something, but the Witch Elves not even really in a position to catch anything out at this moment, just getting bogged down by Skaven Slaves here. You can see Rat Ogres and such moving up to the high ground to kind of defend the main push over here. And oh man, those Sisters of Slaughter getting terrified away, taking a ton of heat from those Night Runners. So Scribble definitely doing some work here. Good counterfire by the Shades though, doing a ton of damage to that Doom Wheel. So definitely not out of the woods yet for the Skaven, especially with these Bolt Throwers still online. Looks like one of the units did lose out on one artillery piece. Yep, the other one's still online firing. Let's see how the Skaven artillery is doing. Still, one of them down to only one piece. Oh man, and the other one down to only 2. So Dark Elves definitely winning that artillery duel there, and a nice burning head cuts through quite a few of those Night Runners there. And ooh, didn't quite make contact with those Clan Rats. Actually, it was enough to apply the burnt effect, which is probably going to rout them off there. So pretty advantageous. There must have just been like barely one in that area of effect or something. But Doom Wheel also coming through. This is potentially a dangerous situation with all of these Blackguard here. Yeah, you can see the Doom Wheel starts to take quite a bit of damage here. And would have liked to have seen the Regiment of Renowned Dread Spears, but oh man, this Warp Lightning is going to be nasty. Ooh, mostly on Dread Spears, but still a ton of damage coming down there. And that is enough to terrify away those Dread Spears. That being said, the Blackguard are dragging down this Doom Wheel. So, like I said, Dark Elves not completely out of this yet. The bounce power actually still pretty close, and Lokir is able to regenerate while he's in melee. So despite the fact he's taking quite a bit of damage, he's going to be just fine. There's not really a lot on the Skaven roster that can take him out very quickly, so Dark Elves trying to rally here in the second quarter a little bit. The Shades look like they're opening up on that Doom Wheel, so yeah, very good play there, and looks like another Burning Head coming down on this pocket. This unit of Blackguard did kind of get surrounded, unfortunately, and just weight of numbers here, able to take them out, and that Burning Head very well reacted by Scribble to move his lighter units away from there. That is going to disengage from those Blackguard for the most part, but they're pretty aggressive in going after that Doom Wheel, and their leadership is just too low at this point. They've just taken too many hits. You know, death by 1,000 cuts, definitely pretty real against the Skaven. We'll watch as these Sisters of Slaughter charge in. They will cut up some of these Clan Rats, but at this point, the attrition rate is just not working out in the Dark Elves' favor. The Sorceress, Lore of Fire, starting to take some major damage from the Warp Lightning Cannons as well. Only one Bolt Thrower still online for the Dark Elves, whereas the Skaven still have, same as before, two pieces here and one piece there, able to still get effective fire, both units. So, how about that friendly fire, though, straight into the Clan Rats? Oh man, I love Skaven. Even if they're not the best. Scribble's definitely making them work here, though. These Night Runners going to be coming forward and shutting down this last Reaper Bolt Thrower, securing the artillery advantage, so these there's not really much that can threaten these Warp Lightning Cannons at this point. They have taken some hits, but they're going to be able to probably seal this thing out. Rat Ogre's getting through onto the Shades here, and they've used up only about half their ammo, and yeah, Lokir, not sure where he got off to. He's still in here trying to fight, but this is the issue with Infantry Lords is, yeah, they might tank, they might do a little bit of damage, but they just don't have any kind of dynamicism. There's no big bunker buster area of effect spell or anything like that, so yeah, looks like the Skaven going to be pulling out a win on that one. Very well played to Scribble there. Excellent, excellent work. I'd go for Bleak Swords and loads of Doomfire Warlocks. Cold One Chariots, yeah. I think that the Bolt Throwers were not a bad pick at all. Personally, I would have probably, yeah, you need some kind of high mass units. Cold One Knights, one or two units of Cold One Knights, I think would be a better pick than the Blackguard here, because they have mass. They can stop the Doom Wheels. Granted, Doom Wheels will do a bit better against them. Well, I don't know, actually. It's hard to say, but yeah. Yeah, rough stuff. All right. Yeah, this is, yeah, the smaller maps like that, I mean, to a degree, there's still some things you can do. I actually think that Black Ark Corsairs with handbows would have been a better pick than the melee Corsairs, because they can counterfire on the Night Runners. They can shoot Rat Ogres. They're fast enough. They can kite a lot of Skaven units pretty effectively. So I'm a big fan of the handbows in this matchup. They're the only Dark Elf 360 shooting unit, I think, too. So, yeah. You take like a line of handbows. Marathi is pretty good in this matchup. Malekith on a chariot is also hilariously good in this matchup if you use him right. Like you get Malekith. Oh no, Cold One chariots also have 360 shooting. That's right. So you take a couple Cold One chariots, like a line of Corsair handbows, some bleak swords, some dread spears, maybe a couple bolt throwers. Malekith on a chariot. Yeah. What's up, Wicked? Good to see you. Lost to Kark in round 1. Yeah, I saw you got matched up against him. That's definitely a rough first matchup. Kark's a very good player, so hopefully you had fun. Them lizard limos, yeah, the lizard limos against the Skaven, I think, are the way to go, so I'm surprised we didn't see any of those. And believe it or not, the lizard limos actually trade pretty well against a Doom Wheel, which is kind of the worst thing that you can visually see ever, but but I mean, they have 3 models against 1. You can also, I mean, both of them have AP missiles. They can kind of shoot at each other, but with the Cold One chariots, you can actually pick your targets rather than just the Doom Wheel, which shoots at whatever's nearby. So, nice, Wicked. Yeah, putting up a competitive fight against a great player like Kark is definitely an accomplishment in and of itself, so. Big Daddy Durthu comes in the bar and slaps your girlfriend's ass. What do you do? Good question. What would I do? Probably bust out the torch and the chainsaw. Dual wield that. That's another good point, Aristo. Because you have more models, you can hit more models at a time, right? Whereas a Doom Wheel, you'd have to like side shot through a unit to hit the same amount of models, which, granted, you can. It takes some skill, but yeah. The Doom Wheel obviously causes terror, whereas Cold One chariots just cause fear. The other big issue with Cold One chariots is the enrage, right? Plus, with warp lightning cannons, you know, there's some risk there as well, which is why I say you definitely want the 2 bolt throwers to counter fire. Because otherwise your Cold One chariots are going to be pretty vulnerable. Like a solid volley, if they all connect on the same model, can one-shot one of the chariot unit models, and that just destroys the unit's killing power. You know, it loses 1/3 of its killing power in one go, so it's a risky pick, but especially if you have a nice spread out mobile build and you're pressuring the Skaven on a lot of different fronts and, you know, presenting them with a lot of targets for the Warp Lightning Cannon to potentially shoot at. And what is the lighting on this map? Holy cow, man. This is, oh geez. What is going on, NVIDIA? Like, oh man, this is going to be interesting. Anyway, let's get to the builds here for the Warriors of Chaos. I should probably take the screen blocker off. And yeah, we've got Warriors of Chaos here for Scribble. Marauder Horseman up front. He's got a couple of Hounds as well. A solo Shaggoth. Got a unit of Chaos Chariots. Looks like some Chosen with great weapons. Mirror Guard, Chaos Marauders. L Big Bird. Looks like he's got Final Transmutation and Plague of Rust. Very good stuff. Oh, yep. Sorry, guys. And we've got the High Elves here as well. A Princess. We've got some Spearmen, White Lions, Archers, Spearmen, some Sword Masters up through the center. Life Mage, Archers, couple Bolt Throwers, Spearmen. Interesting build. Very interesting build. Pretty straightforward. The Swordmasters, I'm curious to see how they do here with Big Bird supporting the chariots and everything. Granted, I mean, you do have the bolt throwers to shoot at the chariots, but yeah, you've also got the Shaggoth on the field as well, so it should be an interesting game. I'm curious to see what happens here. Just a second, guys. Alright, looks like these guys are getting underway. Princess is moving up to do a bit of scouting here, and the issue with these bolt throwers is they have a terrible line of sight situation. So depending on how Scribble plays this, he could easily take almost no damage from these bolt throwers on the approach here. So we'll see how the high elf player reacts. It looks like he's going to try and push forward here, set up his bolt throwers between these two pillars. So yeah, the line of sight blocking terrain here, you know, the big pillars, there's lots of little ridges and stuff. I know it's kind of hard. It actually looks like it's coming through okay on stream. The lighting's not amazing, but I think it looks worse on my main monitor here than it does for you guys. So yeah, it looks alright. Let me know if it's too dark and I can try and turn up the brightness here, but should give them a burrowing ability. That could be fun. Yep. All this warpstone here. And the Skaven were in the last game, but Princess is going to move forward and start to use her bow to shoot at these Horse Masters here. Didn't even pick off a unit model there. Wow, Princess, come on. That's just terrible. Now, she is on the moon. Nope, Star Dragon, so she does have the full 80 armor. And, you know, the stopping power of a Star Dragon. With the bow and everything especially, quite powerful. Looks like the bolt thrower is now set up and starting to scattershot the Marauder Horsemasters. Now, this is a bit of a mistake here. The Horsemasters with their 50 armor, looks like there is one unit of throwing axes as well. Won't take that much damage from the scatter shot. And, of course, that shot just going directly into that massive pile of warpstone there. So, yeah. Scribble just being very patient, you know, advancing, using the line of sight blocking terrain, trying to use up some of his opponent's ammo here. Horsemen and Horsemasters pushing up to try and throw some jabs at that Princess. Again, only 80 armor, can actually do some pretty decent damage, even with the non-AP quote-unquote javelins. So what's with that green light? It's all warpstone. But, yeah, you can see the Chaos player here, Scribble, really utilizing this line of sight blocking terrain well, trying to push up the majority of his high value units that would be potentially vulnerable to these bolt throwers, you know, up and around this side. Looks like Big Bird and some hounds coming through here. Going to try and jump on some archers potentially, but there are, you know, spearmen, white lions, more spearmen protecting here. But we'll see. Yeah, right now this bolt thrower is not really doing a whole lot. Oh no, do not dive down in there. That would be a terrible thing to do, Star Dragon. At the same time, this is also not going to be great. Ooh, man, a nasty breath attack does a ton of damage to the throwing axes there. It's actually, you know, there's an argument to be made about how you should use those 3 breath charges, but certainly I can see taking down that unit of throwing axes there. And now the scatter shot can actually start to do a little bit of damage here. Looks like some hounds are, ooh, they do sweep up and around this gap here and get in on those archers. The spearmen not quite in a position to support. That being said, high elf archers with their martial prowess are okay in combat against a low tier fast mover like those hounds. Meanwhile, Chosen pushing up on this pocket, you can see they haven't been fired on by the artillery at all. And all the rest of these units here, you know, mirror guard. There's also plenty of missile pressure here, so that if the dragon tries to breath those Chosen, you know, definitely will be costly. Meanwhile, chariots running through the front line here. Big Bird ransacking these sword masters here, and the chariots might try and push through. It looks like the dragon Ooh, he's going to go after the chariots here, but of course that means that the dragon's not coming after the units in this portion of the battlefield. You can see spearmen starting to get cut up pretty hard by the mirror guard. This hound tried to do the same thing, do a cheeky sweep up and around. Looks like they are going to be re-microed there to disengage and try and do so. Yeah, the chariots came down, lost one of their unit models, and immediately got terrified away. But again, that princess took a lot of damage in return. A regrowth going to be used now on the princess to, you know, heal her, refresh her vigor and everything. But the missile pressure from Chaos is enough here, and just the counter missile play is not quite there. You know, the bolt throwers and the archers really haven't done enough to shut down the Marauder Horsemen and Horse Masters, but another very nice charge here from the Star Dragon, finishing off those chariots, and the Shaggoth not in a position to immediately punish, which means the princess is going to be able to get back up in the air. Overcast Plague of Rust, though, bringing that princess down to only 20 armor. Again, though, getting back up in the air, she's going to be relatively protected here. And oh man, the Horse Masters have this Life Mage a bit singled out here. They could potentially get some good damage in there. Over on this side, things definitely going in Chaos's favor as they start to grind through some of the infantry there. But this main kind of pitched engagement on the high ground is obviously where the most important part of the battle is. The Shaggoth is in a position to support this time as the Star Dragon tries to get a cheeky charge on Big Bird. The regrouped chariots running through these white lions here, and we've got Marauders supporting as well, so very nice cinematic views here. And the Star Dragon very jankily charges down and does manage to land a hit on the Shaggoth there. And yeah, cycle charging the Shaggoth, definitely what the princess probably wants to do, although she's getting pretty low at this point, and oh man, this Overcast Final Transmutation is probably going to be enough to finish it. She's not able to get back up in the air in time, and the Final Transmutation does go off. Is that going to be enough to finish off her leadership? Yes, it is. Is it also enough to finish off her HP? Not quite, I don't think. We'll see. Yeah, it looks like Zarhu going to go ahead and admit defeat that on that one, so yeah. Yep. Big Bird there, just proving to be too much, and the counter missile play taking down the Star Dragon ultimately I think is what swung it. Scribble also did a great job of kind of disrupting the High Elves' position there, and just in general kind of making things tough for the Elfie boys. So great great battle, well played to both players. Let's go ahead and jump into another one here. Let's move on over to the bracket. And see who's doing what. Looks like most people are currently in their games. Oh man, it looks like my friends ended up actually taking that series, the one that we ended up leaving. So I'm not sure, Queek. I'll have to go back and watch that later. It's possible, I guess, but oh man. Let's see here. Nope. Access denied. Got time for a few more games here. Could see what's going on with Moo, Kip, and Romulan. Let's see here. Looks like Herbert Walker is casting this one. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and see if we can't find a different one here. What's the best way to beat Dark Elves' Empire? Oh, there's a lot of different ways you can go. Yeah, it's tough to say like any one thing because there's so many different directions you can go. Generally, heavy cavalry plus mobility is the way to go. If you can win the mobility advantage, you can just cycle charge the Dark Elves to death. They don't really have that strong of a cav game, so like if you have the Faith Demis, maybe some Empire Knights, Pistoliers, of course. Maybe you take Balthazar, maybe you take Karl Franz, a few different things you can do. But just in general, you're going to want to try and win mobility, and then use your heavy cavalry to just destroy the Dark Elf infantry, because there's not a lot they can do. A lot of Dark Elf infantry is high value, low armor. Like you have Witch Elves, you have Sisters of Slaughter. Corsairs, to a degree, they're 80 armor, but they're still pretty squish. So yeah. That's generally the way I go about that matchup. Depends on how you like to play, though. I mean, you could also do like an artillery control build, you know, using a lot of cannons, like Triple Empire Great Cannon's pretty good, but... let's see here. Let's see here. Maybe we can jump in on this one. Yeah, that is an issue, Ryan. Yeah, it's tough. Your infantry is going to get wrecked. So, I mean, that's something you have to take into account, which is why I try and go super heavy into the mobility skirmish game so that I can try and, number one, deal some damage to them before they get into that mainline engagement, and then number two, when my infantry inevitably crumbles away, I still have the mobility to try and spread out, hit from multiple directions at the same time, especially because at that point, hopefully, I've won the mobility engagement, and then Sisters of Slaughter, Witch Elves, you can cycle charge them to death with, you know, Empire Knights even, so... Yeah, not having enough in the end is definitely an issue, so... Yeah. Generally, though, you can go super, super wide and just flood the board with bodies, and, you know, if you go with, like, a multi-layered defense where they're only able to engage a couple units at a time, then you can definitely can do some different things there, but... Then again, I am pretty biased towards the Empire, so... Let's see here. Just waiting on a game. Trying to see who I can jump in on. Let's see here. Da-da-da. Let's see. We should see some games finishing up here. There's no game that I can really jump in right now. We're just waiting on some people to finish up their current games so that we can then jump into the lobby. So let's see here. Okay, looks like we might be able to join this game here. Alright, yep. Alright, so we're having Nefergoth versus Felcon. Should be an interesting time. And looks like Empire versus Lizardmen for this first game, potentially. So we'll see. We shall see. Should be interesting. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Ouija. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. They're gonna have some chaff infantry, but yeah, I mean, I had speculated that they might have something like what the oh, what's it called? Why am I blanking out super hard right now? The nomadic factions in Rome 2 had, it was called Draco. It's an ability that would give like an area of effect minus bonus versus large. So something like that I could see, certainly. But oh man, guys, you guys are gonna love this build. This is next level right here. Ooh, probably have about not quite an hour left of casting time, probably about 45 minutes. I do have to leave for work relatively soon, so should be able to get in hopefully at least this series here before the end. So I will of course be linking to everyone who will be casting further games in this particular tournament. So yeah, I hope you all have enjoyed watching. Apologize if any of you guys have used the Streamlabs donation link. I don't actually have Streamlabs set up right now, so the donations will still go through, and I will still get them. I'm just not gonna see them while I'm on stream, right? So Queek, good question. Probably tomorrow. It's just whenever I have time. We were maybe going to do it today, but then I had remembered I'd committed to cast this tournament, so yeah, that sort of fell through, but oh yeah, you're gonna need Noblars for sure. For sure. You're gonna need that that infantry flood, because the thing about like stacking chaff on top of monstrous infantry, ideally in an ideal situation it works really well, because the chaff will take hits and the monstrous infantry will do the damage. But sometimes it works, you know, depending on animations and different things, it can affect how that can play out, but should be interesting. Ugh. All right. I think these guys are just about ready, perhaps. Almost there. Not quite. I do need another cup of coffee. I already drank a bunch of caffeine this morning, and it's... yeah. I only got like 4 hours of sleep last night, so that is probably a part of why I'm so tired. 4 Croxigore build. Alright, so these guys are loading in now, so let's get to it. Let us watch, as they say. Yeah, Aristo, I do have some issues with insomnia. It hasn't really been bad. The past couple weeks have actually been pretty good. I've been able to most nights sleep a full 8 hours. But last night I was having some issues, so I got home, tried to go to bed around like 1 a.m. But then I just couldn't sleep. So yeah. Ugh, yeah. Check out this architecture, though. Like, it's like a Jenga game in progress. Anyway, just waiting for these guys to load in here. Is that like a waterfall? Is that what that is? Yeah, it is in the background there. Interesting. This little lizardmen cave here. Speaking of lizardmen, let's go ahead and have a look at their build first. We've got a couple of cold one, one cold one spear rider and a horned one. More cold one riders, more cold one spear riders, horned one. So wow, very aggressive infantry cav build rather for the lizardmen here. We've got Saurus Old Blood, so we're looking for some horny horned ones here with that Horn of Kygor. Also got Skink Priest, Lore of Heavens. 1 Feral Bastillodon, 1 unit of Croxigores, a whole line of Skinks with Javelins, and a Saurus Scar Veteran as well. Very good stuff. For the Empire, interesting build here. 1 unit of Great Swords, 2 unit of Great Swords, got some Spearmen, Sigmar's Sons, a Steam Tank against the Lizardmen. Very interesting choice. Got the Royal Altar of Gryphites here, handgunners, 1 Great Cannon, Balthazar Gelt on a horse with a Witch Hunter. Let's have a look. He's got just Final Transmutation. Let's see here. Spearmen, Silver Bullets. Yeah, interesting build. Very interesting build. Zemim Tank. This Lizardman build, though, look at all these Lizardman cav. Holy cow, this is going to be interesting. Normally this matchup's a little bit the other way around. You typically see a lot more heavy cavalry from the Empire and more infantry from the Lizardmen. This time the Empire going more infantry heavy, the Lizardmen taking the mass cavalry. And I'm very curious to see how this works out. There's just so many Saurus here. The Saurus Spear Riders, the horned ones especially, man. Look at these clever girls. They're awesome. What like gold helmets? Brass? Something like that. Anyway, Lizardmen are going to be starting it off here. Both forces pushing forward. Obviously the Empire with a clear artillery advantage. He's going to have to be careful, though. The Steam Tank is only 48 speed. It is significantly slower than the horned ones here, so if he gets too separated from the rest of his army, could prove disastrous. You know, if the horned ones, cold ones, are able to get a surround on the Steam Tank. So yeah, I mean, granted, he is within range of the Great Cannon as well, so maybe he's trying to force a big blob here. Who knows? No, Carl. Yeah. No, Karl Franz is a bit of a missed opportunity in my opinion, but see how the line of sight is here for this steam tank as it rolls up and over the hill in the distance. Nice hold down position. Oop. Starting to pop off shots into the horned ones, and a swing and a miss. Looks like actually did take down one solitary horned one. Rest in peace. Yeah, at least he got a nice beautiful place to pass on with all these flowers and everything. No more were taken down that second shot, although the Great Cannon is opening up shots. Switching to the Croc scores, very good target. Steam Tank needs to pull back immediately, though. Again, not very fast, only 48 speed. These horned ones at 78 speed are much, much faster, and already the Steam Tank, I think, is too far out of position. I don't think it's going to be able to get back to supporting elements in time, but we'll see. Balthazar is also getting super aggressive coming out here, way out in front of everyone, so let's see here. Cold One Riders taking a shot there from the cannon, so Great Cannon's able to do some okay work so far, and shooting at these Lizardman cavalry is definitely a good idea. You can take down the unit models and lessen the unit stopping power. For a unit that already doesn't have that many models to begin with, it can be very advantageous, but the Steam Tank's about to get caught here by these horned ones. This is not a good situation. I don't think the Saurus... Oh, the Saurus Old Blood is nearby potentially to provide that Horn of Kygor as a follow-up. But, yeah, Steam Tank is able to make it up and over the crest here. You can see potentially drawing these Lizardman cavalry into a bit of an ambush here. Are the guns in position to start opening up shots? Yes, they are. So a very nice volley coming in from the side there. And Lizardman cavalry immediately realizing the danger that they're in. We've got an Overcast Final Transmutation going down in this pocket here. That will do quite a bit of damage to those Cold One Spear Riders. Falcon trying to spread out his units as to lessen the impact of that spell. Very good job there. The Steam Tank's taking a ton of damage though, and those handgunners were not able to be protected. The Halberdiers a little bit out of position, so already things looking a little bit rough. That being said, these Cold One Riders have been routed off. The Great Cannon and Silver Bullet's relatively secure at this point. Probably going to be focusing on those Croc scores, I would think. But the cannon's actually shooting over into this pocket where there are a ton of Cold Ones, you know, kind of all ganged up. Spearman with the chevrons will do okay here, but losing that unit of handgunners was definitely pretty rough. He did manage to extract the Steam Tank with a decent amount of HP left, so things are looking okay for the Empire right now. We'll see as this infantry fight starts to get underway. The Great Swords obviously will just cut down skinks without too much issue, and the Royal Altar of Cryptites came in and did manage to chase off those Croxagors, it looks like. So, yeah, very good play so far. Nope, actually, the Croxagors just bypassed them and went and killed the Hammer of Witches. Good stuff. I say Hammer of Witches. It's actually just a Great Cannon, but Silver Bullets are still free to fire, though. Get some effective damage done on the Croxagors. These Royal Altar of Cryptites just plowing through those skinks. Not really sure what they're going after. I guess trying to secure against the Cold Ones here. The Cold Ones starting to run out of steam a little bit as a lot of their units take quite a bit of damage. The Horned Ones in the back line, though, have regrouped here and are coming around for a second push. Probably going to try and get in here and rout off these Silver Bullets, I would think. The Bastillodon's in there, so yeah, despite the fact the infantry line went in favor, and oh man, that wind blast, though, oh man, that was devastating. The Silver Bullets are just gone after that. 57 kills on that Skink Priest, probably all from that one wind blast. That was insane, man. The Altar of Cryptites in here supporting the Steam Tank, though. This is a very good play right here, kind of synergizing these two units together. The Altar of Cryptites able to drag down the Saurus Scarvet here. He's being accused of heresy, you know, finger pointing going on in this area here. And, yeah, Saurus Scarvet probably going to get routed off here. That being said, Altar of Cryptites are a little bit isolated here, and with the Horned Ones charging in, they probably will take some pretty solid damage there. Yeah, you can see not a lot of support, and just overwhelming bodies for the Lizardmen mean that the Altar of Cryptites probably going to get dragged down here. Not looking too hot for the Empire at this point. They just didn't have enough to protect their ranged units. Personally, I would have rather liked to have seen Outriders rather than the Handgunners and the Silver Bullets here. Because they have the mobility, they can pull away when the line gets compromised and, you know, mobile units come after them. As it is right now, we do have some Handgunners regrouping here. Altar of Cryptites just getting surrounded and dragged down by superior numbers. The Great Swords trying to rally back in here, but at this point the AP, you know, dinos, ooh, an Overcast Final Transmutation, though, that could potentially be devastating, and it leads to a lot of units getting terrified away by the Steam Tank, which only has about 300 HP left, but I don't think that's going to be enough to bring things back for the Empire. Yeah, it unfortunately did not get super great contact on these horned ones. It did do some good damage to the Source Old Blood and was able to stabilize for some of the Empire infantry here, so maybe they can start to come back. Not completely out of the woods yet, and the balance of power is definitely tipping back in the Empire's favor. You can see the Witch Hunter here secure, getting some good shots on the Source Old Blood. He's going to go after the Steam Tank. The Steam Tank going to try and pull away here, potentially. Oh, man, just gets blown up, though. It's in a blow by the Source Old Blood there, and that is going to be a pretty severe, you know, downside for the Empire. You can see the Great Swords getting terrified away by the Feral Bastillodon there. The Witch Hunter's getting ransacked at this point, so yeah, I think this is pretty much GG for the Empire. At this point, I really don't think they have enough to come back. Balthazar is going to try and come back in here and rally his troops, but another accusation going down on the Source Old Blood, so at least the Witch Hunter was able to get some accusations of heresy out before he went down. The Old Blood taking quite a bit of damage here, so that's going to keep the balance of power from getting too far out of reach for the Empire, but I still just don't think that they have enough left at this point. These handgunners being online for so long, definitely beneficial, but we'll see. They're going to get a beat on the Old Blood here as he tries to advance. He does have a missile block chance, but potentially could take some counterfire there. But yeah, here we go. Now all these cold ones finally realizing they need to take down these handgunners here. Going to be pushing through, and yep. Lunchtime, boys. Balthazar's in here as well. He's going to get beat up by the Cold One Spear Riders and the Source Old Blood and everything. So yeah, Balthazar not long for this world, and with that, it should be army losses for the Empire. We'll see how long they're able to hold out here. So yeah, he's so good versus the dinosaurs. I don't know why you wouldn't bring Karl Franz. I mean, Balthazar, a bit of a fun pick. Especially if you bring, like, mass pistoliers. Balthazar, if you have him up in the air with Plague of Rust, and you have mass pistoliers, you can actually do pretty cheeky things to the dinos, but yeah. Yep. Yeah, I whacked him right in the fuel tank, apparently. But, yep, there's army losses for the Empire. GG to both players. Very fun stuff. Very, very fun stuff. Felcon taking a win there with the Mass Cav and the Horned Ones. Definitely the MVPs in the late game there. 134, 83 kills, both of them racking up an XP Chevron. Very effective use of those Croxigors as well. Croxigors, you know, one of those units that if you use them appropriately, they can really get some good work done. These Croxigors were basically what took down the Great Swords here. Great Swords racking up a ton of kills as well. The Steam Tank, I think, was the rough pick here. Kind of was used as a bit of a distraction piece, but because there was no healing, you couldn't really bring that back up. So I would have liked to have maybe seen Karl Franz on a horse. On the Griffin is also very good, but with the healer, you know, if you take him on the horse, then he can potentially support the Steam Tank with his buffs and, you know, just generally be a nuisance on the ground. It's also a bit cheaper, but anyway, very well played to both players. Yeah, somebody get Pippington in here. Somebody send him that replay. Oh, man, those Horned Ones. Very good stuff. Excellent, excellent work. I really like that. I've been a fan of the Horn of Kygor, you know, on the Old Blood plus the Horned Ones for a while. So good to see some other people making use of that. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen a Mass Cav build from the Lizardmen before, and that was fun. So, the Horn of Kygor. Go ahead and have a look here. The Horn gives, what, charge bonus, melee attack, and weapon strength. So, in particular, the charge bonus and melee attack, obviously, is what really really buffs up the Horned Ones. But I don't believe it gives AP damage. I think it's just total weapon strength. I don't know 100%, but oh man. Rampage is a fun mechanic. Okay, not really, but still. Alright, looks like we're getting Norska versus Chaos for this next one. Da-da-da. Yep, Norska versus Chaos. Yeah, it's an area of effect around the Old Blood. It's a pretty good area of effect too. I want to say it's like the same size as Stand Your Ground, but Famir with great weapons. Da-da-da. Famir are just amazing in general. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Oh man, looks like the bracket's shaping up just about. We'll see. If these guys, it depends on obviously who wins this one, but if Falcon takes this one, then we'll probably be able to squeeze in one more series before I have to go. But, yeah. The winner of this one goes on to play Kark in the quarterfinals. We've also got, let's see here, Romulan Dog, Pippington, and Scribble. So far, that's the 4 people who have made it to the quarterfinals, and none of them are up against each other. They're all each match in the quarterfinals already has one person in. They're all just waiting for their opponents. So this is the one that appears to be the closest, as well as Freddie Mercury versus Black Phillip, which. Oh man, looks like Freddie Mercury able to take a 2-1 series against Sarmatian, so very good stuff. And yeah, Romulan Dog going 2-0 against Mookip. Pippington went 2-0 against Hadris there. Kark has been able to advance as well, 2-0 against Von Karstein. So again, the winner of this series is going to go on to play Kark. Who dares? Pippington, you just missed an amazing Mass Cav Blizzardman game. It was super fun. Falcon made it work against the Empire. Yeah, Frostworms are actually pretty decent. I've been seeing them a lot more lately, and they are counterable by certain things, but against some factions, they can be really, really nice. So, yeah, they're a nightmare to fight, though. Like, oh, if one of your mobile units gets caught by Frostworm, you're in huge trouble, because there's no getting away from one of those things. Between the Chilling Aura and the Frostbite, like, it's minus 70% speed or something like that, I think. So, yep. Yeah, not a good time for the Empire Heavy Cav, especially he had, what, 2 horned ones, like 4 cold ones riders. Some of them were spear, some of them weren't, but then he also had the Source Old Blood also on a cold one, giving him all the Horn of Kygor, and just, it was brutal. The Empire player tried to bring a steam tank, and you can imagine how that went. Alright, looks like these guys are going to be getting it going here, so let's go ahead and switch this over. Yeah, Frostworm's pretty underrated. They're definitely decent. Hamilton who rampaged into Aaron Burr. Oh, man. Good old Alexander Hamilton. All right, back on the warpstone mine here. You can see the Skavenses have been busy at work uncovering their warpstone. You can see some beautiful Dowie architecture in the background as well. And alright, so here we are with the builds. Chaos Sorcerer, Lord of Fire up on the dragon. I'm a fan of this pick against the good old Norskins. He's got Fireball and Flaming Sword. Personally, I would have rather seen Cascading Fire Cloak than Flaming Sword, but there you go. Also got Arcane Conduit, obviously. He's got Halberds and Chosen in the front line. Warriors with Halberds and Shielded Chosen, that is. A couple of Aspiring Champs and plenty of mobility with Marauder Horsemen. Yeah, 3 Aspiring Champs, actually. Pretty good stuff. Interesting against the Norskins. We've also got some Marauder Horsemen, of course, for them. Looks like Wulfric the Wanderer going to be leading the way. We do have a Frostworm here up in the air. The issue with the Frostworm is it's weak to fire. So the Chaos Sorcerer on the dragon will win that engagement one-on-one because of that weakness to fire, at least I think. Especially with like the buffs and stuff too. Cheeky Fireball early on could help tilt that as well. These Marauders, dude, look at these glowing green Marauders, man. That is eerie. That is super eerie. Nurgle is pleased, indeed. We've got some Famir Warriors. No great weapon. One great weapon, actually. Miststalkers. Just regular Marauders in the front line. Famir, Balefiend, Lore of Shadows. No surprises there. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the Balefiend plus Wulfric. You get the double wind, double debuff. So Enfeebling Foe and Penumbral Pendulum. Of course, you can stack those with... oh, Wulfric's on a Chariot. Nice. Hunter of Champions and Sea Fang. So you get, again, the double wind, double debuffs. You can really just terrorize characters, wreck light infantry lines, even heavy infantry lines. So, yeah, we'll see. We shall see. Nice to see an underground battle. Yeah, it's interesting. Aerocrastic certainly not afraid to pick some maps that you might not expect to be in a tournament. So, kind of forces some different sorts of tactics and play styles here. So yeah, you can see Chaos player advancing. Probably going to want to try and pop a Fireball on that Frostworm as soon as possible with his Chaos Lord there, but you can see the Frostworm is advancing, trying to use the line of sight blocking of these pillars here to not get Fireballed in the face. But I mean, obviously, if he flies up and over like this, then he's going to be an easy target. But oh man, look at that green Frostworm in the distance. That is also very, very eerie. But yeah. Fireball, come on, he's way up there. There's no way he can dodge that. Just pop him real quick. Maybe not, but anyway. Yeah, Chaos player just patiently advancing here. Same thing with the Norskins. Both players not really wanting to commit too heavily yet. Hey, it's Sass Bros. Good to see you. Alright. Yeah, these Chosen, man, advancing up through the darkness. The glowing swords of the aspiring champions giving off some light here, but we'll see. Shall see. Looks like these champs going to be soaking a charge here potentially. Oh man, these Marauder Horsemen just going all in there, taking some counterfire from Chaos though. Not necessarily the best, and those champions obviously with their 64 melee defense aren't going to take too much damage from that cheeky quick charge there. You can see the Norskins are advancing all across the line here. Oh, and here it comes. This is what I was waiting for. That Frost Breath there does some good damage, but a beautiful Fireball popping that Frostworm right in the teeth, doing a little bit of damage, not anything too crazy, but Wulfric's going to plow right through and start to cut through sideways through the infantry line here. Now, Chaos going to have to be careful. Again, that double wind could potentially be very, very dangerous. Flaming Sword of Ruin going down, which does mean, again, this Frostworm with its weakness to fire is going to be taking extra damage from all of the melee units in this pocket. Yeah, Sorcerer Lord, not really sure where to go at this point. Ooh, a nice Dragon Breath wrecks those Marauders. Here comes a Sea Fang, though. Yeah, not doing too much damage. It did a pretty decent amount of damage, but it doesn't do the most armor-piercing damage. Ooh, an Overcast Penumbral Pendulum immediately following up, though, doing even more, damage there. Wolfric taking a fireball to the face. Not looking great, honestly, for Chaos. This Norskin Rush build I have used quite a bit to good effect myself, and the fact that you can come in and just do so much shock damage with that double wind, and the Famir, you know, they'll do just fine against Chaos Warriors. Chosen, you know, they might have some issues with, but Chosen with Halberds obviously would be a lot bigger of a threat. But yeah, Chaos obviously not completely out of this yet. There are still plenty of, plenty of Chosen fighting. As soon as I say that, of course, a mass terror route in the front line for the Warriors of Chaos. So yeah, not looking great so far. Definitely not looking great so far. And unfortunately, the Sorcerer has been hit with that Hunter of Champions, so he's going to have to be careful. You know, the Hunter of Champions with the Enfeebling Foe could potentially lead to him getting taken down by the Frostworm. Frostworm looks like it's going to try and pop up back in the air. Is it going to go after? Hunter of Champions is just about offline at this point, though, so it might not be super worth it to try and go after him right now, but it looks like instead going after the Aspiring Champions here. Definitely a good pick. One unit of Chosen still online, and it does look like the Marauder Horseman going to be trying to kind of screen things out a little bit here. At this point, though, there's not a lot of stopping power to take down the Famir. You know, the Halberds and the Chosen were really what needed to be used to take down the Famir, so yeah, I think that double wind spell just did it. Felcon trying to come back, or sorry, Nefergoth trying to come back here, though, doing some good damage to the Frostworm. The Chaos Horsemen still, you know, holding out a little bit, but at this point, again, there's just nothing to stop these Famir, especially the Miststalkers, which, you know, you can hardly see in the darkness here, but trust me, they are here. And, yeah, they do cause terror, they have missile resistance, you know, tons of armor. There's just nothing at this point for the Chaos Army that can stop them, so getting pretty close to critical army losses here for the Warriors of Chaos. This Chaos Sorcerer not too happy, continuing to take that Enfeebling Foe and everything, so anytime he tries to come down and do any damage, because of the debuffed stats there, he's just not able to, so yeah, rough stuff. Maybe I would have liked to have seen Chosen with Halberds. This is one of the few matchups, I think, where they are kind of viable, but just getting wrecked by that double wind again was, I think, the clincher there, so yeah. Yep. Ooh, yeah, the Chaos Sorcerer taking some missile pressure here, and I'm pretty sure once these Chosen over here buckle, that's going to be army losses. So we'll go ahead and soak up some cinematics of these Chosen duking it out with the Famir here. And I believe that's it. So, yep. Good stuff. Yeah, 25 and 82 with the double win there. Just cleaning up that front line, doing enough damage so that the Famir and everything could get a good terror out and push through. So, fun stuff. Fun stuff. So, let's see here. Do I want to jump in one more series before I call it a stream? I don't think I have time. So, yeah, unfortunately, guys, I don't think I'm gonna have time to finish out the quarterfinals. I believe Turin is gonna be streaming the semifinals, if I remember correctly, and we've got some other streamers over on Twitch as well, continuing to stream the tournament. So let's go ahead and have a look here. My son Herbert Walker is gonna be streaming in English as well, so I'll go ahead and slap a link over to his channel. So big thanks everyone once again for joining me today. It's been a ton of fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching these battles, and yeah, hope to see you all on the next streams. Should be doing more tournament content going forward. I'm not 100% sure until the end of December. I'm going to be super busy, so we'll see. Might try and get something in, but yeah. Thank you all for coming out. This stream is going to be going after the fact, so if you missed some or part of the stream, you know, don't worry, it'll be going up later. So a big thanks once again to Aerocrastic for hosting the tournament, and we will see you all later. Thanks for watching, and yeah, see you next time.